Hey everybody, welcome back to the MCTPCast. I'm Luke,
And I'm Aiden.
and today we have a very special guest. Today's guest might be the final one of the show, so we are definitely going out with a bang. He is the founder and former owner of HorizonParks, the first Minecraft theme park server to have vintage recreations of some of your favorite theme parks. Having been removed from the project, he has since begun a new project called Project New Tomorrow, recreating past experiences from the golden age of Disney with the technological advances of the 21st century. Here he is to discuss his past, present, and future. It is Soister.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you so much to Aiden and Luke for having me on.
Right, so we're very excited, and I think we should really start from the beginning here, especially for people who may not know you in the past. So let's get started from when you joined the community. So, how did you find a Minecraft theme park community, and what made you want to start your own server within it?
Well, I found this game called Minecraft back in around, I would say, late 2012. And I've always been interested in Disney all my life, really, and I've had a personal connection to it for the longest time. And I saw this server called MC Magic, like a lot of us did back in around 2013. So I'm not the oldest here, but I'm kind of close enough to call myself a veteran. So I joined MC Magic in 2013, like a lot of us did, and it really captivated my interest of watching people actually recreate these parks in the game. Now, back then, we didn't have that much technology within the game. We were making characters out of blocks and not being able to fully accomplish one to one just yet. But there was something so special and so unique about it. Just having a community full of people who liked what I liked, and just finding a place that's special to be able to share our passions with each other. And I really was interested in that. And as after a few years of playing on that server and really getting inspiration from that, I really thought about starting my own place where I could share and give back to the community and give another place where people could share their experiences with Disney and just enjoy really great recreations of the parks. But something I always noticed was with many theme park servers, it was always extremely repetitive. You would have 5 servers doing the same park. And I thought to myself, and I thought with Kyle, who also goes by Yogs, um, who also helped found Horizon Parks with me, where's the uniqueness? It's all repetitive. Everyone is offering the same thing. Why should people come to this place when this place already has something? And that's not to discredit anyone at all, but it's just we sought that, and we wanted to provide something that was different and that was unique. And the entire Horizon Park server was a major risk. The entire server was an experiment and it was a risk. And we sat down and we said, you know what? What if, because we all had passions and we loved history and Disney's past, we said, you know what? How about we go and dive into the same parks and the same recreations, but how about we do a twist? And how about we take people back in time and recreate some of these lost attractions in history from the golden era of Disney? So that's really how Horizon Parks began. And we started off recreating a recreation of Epcot from 1989 with some very classic attractions such as the Horizons Pavilion, the Imagination Pavilion, and all the different special pavilions that made Epcot Center so unique and innovating. And Horizon Parks, to me, always wanted to kind of follow the motto of Epcot Center: to entertain, to educate, and to inspire, and just really build upon a community, even if it's small, just something so extraordinary and special that, we could share and everyone could laugh, have fun, and just enjoy. So that's really how Horizon Parks came to be. And shortly after, we expanded and we presented a Disneyland 1956 recreation. We partnered with NGM Entertainment, who's well known on the Planet Minecraft platform. He's made a few individual downloadable maps, recreating Disneyland 1955, 1965, 1975, I believe he goes up to there. And he joined on, and we brought that to life. And we decided to do something even more special and even more risky, which was recreate individual attractions outside of the actual parks we were doing. So, and we called them side projects or side tributes. And these would be attractions extremely unique that wouldn't necessarily fit in a park we were recreating at the time. So we had attractions that were loved by people, such as Adventure Through Inner Space from Disneyland, Delta Dream Flight from the Magic Kingdom, and the original Test Track from Epcot. We wanted to provide something so unique and something you could not find anywhere else, and really just bring the community together. And the server was a huge risk because it was catering to a such a select demographic. I mean, this demographic of vintage attractions, not everyone knows what Horizons is. Not everyone knows what things are, but we wanted to bring that to people and introduce these attractions to people so we could look back and learn from the past so we could look forward to the future. And that's really what Horizon Parks was aiming to achieve.
Something you said that really caught my attention, and that was the risk aspect. Because obviously, as you said, you're catering to a niche community inside of a niche community inside of a niche community, and you're catering to this so specific subset of people who like Minecraft, theme parks, and these vintage attractions. And I think you also even have to think about who even knows what some of these vintage attractions are.
Oh yeah, it was a huge risk. Um, it was not something like a lot of these other servers played it extremely safe because you're doing attractions everyone already knows. But we took a huge risk by presenting content and presenting recreations of things that people might not necessarily be familiar with. And, the age demographic, while Horizon Parks could be played by everyone of any age, it really catered towards an older demographic or people that, already recognize the content. So that was that was one of the very risky parts is trying to be able to provide interest to the demographic who may not know what we were doing and try to introduce it to them. Also, obviously, since Horizon Parks also was kind of catered to the older generations who knew what the attractions were, not everyone owned the game. And you had to download a separate gaming platform to play Horizon Parks, and that was also a challenge as well as trying to reach them. It was definitely a very risky adventure that Kyle and I went on.
Do you feel that risk was worth it?
As I look back, I really do feel it was entirely worth it. Horizon Parks may not have been the most popular server or the most known server ever, but it was a diamond in the rough, and I think that is the spot it played its role in. It brought people together. It had a small community, and I really see quality over quantity in terms of my projects and in terms of my life. I seek uh, quality over quantity. So we had a small, dedicated community who was excited for our projects, and we really brought people together with our creative branding and just so unique, like recreating, not necessarily recreating attractions on the game, but also bringing vintage styles and recreating like video styles, VHS, and different video styles onto our social media platforms. Like I would go take our video content that we recorded and I would purposely sit there and analyze the audio, make sure the audio is accurate to the time, make sure the music we were using was accurate to the time period we were working with, make sure I purposely dampened the quality of our videos to make sure it was, accurate to the time period we were working with. I wanted it to be something special and something unique and something that paid tribute to the past while looking towards the future.
So I know we talked a lot about the theme park aspect of Horizon Parks. But looking back on the history, I also know you guys created some other experiences that were the first of their kind in the Minecraft theme park community. So, would you want to go into some of those?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, Horizon Parks was such an experimental server, and it did pay off a ton. Like there was so many amazing things we got to do with our team, and really, our team are the people that brought it all to life. And I'm so thankful that they were able to come on this journey with Kyle and I. We did a lot of cool things. To my knowledge, we were the first to try 3D modeled character heads for meet and greet experiences and in shows. And while the earlier versions of these character heads were not necessarily proud of, as they were definitely rougher, and Mickey doesn't necessarily look exactly like Mickey, it's still a start. And we're really proud that we were able to help pave the way for actually having 3D modeled character heads and modeled characters in general instead of just armor stands. And I would say one of our biggest achievements in terms of Horizon Parks outside of our theme parks has to be our creative server that we launched when we went independent after our first partnership. And this, many people knew this by HP Creative. This was such an amazing accomplishment. I got to work with Kyle. I got to work with Kokomo123 and so many other people that helped bring it to life. And this, once again, sticking with the Horizon Parks way, this was a huge risk. This was in a time where plugins such as TC coasters were not as stable as they are today. But I sat down and I wanted to make something different from something that no one else was offering, completely different, and something that would really be an amazing product for the guests and let them use their imaginations to create literally whatever they wanted without restriction. So we developed HP Creative, and HP Creative basically set the standard for any new theme park creative server. What HP Creative was is HP Creative gave power to the players. It gave people massive plots. We're talking 1001 by 1001. These were huge. These were plots that people could build an entire massive theme park on and still probably have room left over. And we gave people train carts. We gave people TC coasters with that so they could smoothen out their track. We gave people all of sorts of plugins alongside the server. And that was a huge risk because these plugins are kind of risky to give the people because, they could be used in negative ways. But we took that risk and in order to try to provide a good product, and it really paid off. HP Creative was so popular, and it really set a standard for theme park creative servers that would evolve ever since HP Creative. And I know a few servers actually that had started after HP definitely were inspired by that method of giving power to the players.
Yeah, and giving power to the players is incredibly important, and I think it really set the standard for a lot of Minecraft theme park servers to come. Uh, let's allow people to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more details about what happened to Horizon Parks and, of course, your latest project. We'll be right back.
Right in the center of fun and enchantment at Disneyland Hotel. Such fun that you'll wonder where each day and night went at Disneyland Hotel. Take an enchanted vacation. The magical kingdom is swell. You too will sing life's a wonderful thing at Disneyland Hotel. At Disneyland Hotel.
And we're back. All right, so having established the history of what Horizon Parks was, let's talk about a little bit of what it is now. Now, obviously, it's currently closed as it is under the leadership of a different server. So let's talk about how Horizon Parks got into contact with and merged with the server it is currently with today.
Yeah. So what happened is there was actually two times that this occurred. Something obviously, since Horizon Parks was such a risk, the project was entirely funded by the community. And I didn't necessarily have the funds all the time to be able to keep the server up. This is not a huge ship like many of the other massive servers. This is a small one server type of deal. So it was on a very low budget, and a lot of this came out of my own pocket. I've put in probably maybe a few hundreds of dollars on the server, and it was all community funded. So I'm so appreciative for our community. But there were times where we struggled, and HorizonParks may have dimmered in popularity, of course, because it was a risk of demographic. But also a huge factor of that is just being able to get the funds to keep the server up, because contrary to popular belief, servers are not free to run.
Oh, yeah.
There is so much funds that go into it. It's the backbone of the server, maintaining plugins, getting assets like, when you go in front and watch one of the fireworks shows on these servers and they have a narration in the background, someone paid for that. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. But anyway, so I happened to run with another server who will not be named, just to be subjective here. And, we had both fallen out of, we both had our issues. They had came out of a really tragic merge with another server that had really basically kind of destroyed them to just the lowest of the low. And it was very tragic. And we were struggling with our budget and being able to keep the server up. So we talked with each other, and we really became good friends. We were really friendly with each other. We joked. I actually toured him around Magic Kingdom one day. It was so much fun, and I was so happy. And
So did you guys meet because of this?
Yeah, we partnered up, and both of us, we had the objective of making both servers equally helping each other to get back on our feet and to really become relevant again and really provide a good product equally. So that's kind of what we did, is we partnered back up and we worked together, as so it seemed.
Did that work?
For the longest time, it did. It worked for a bit of time, until it didn't work. It basically, kind of what happened is there was so much disagreements in terms of the risks that I took. I will completely own up to every single one of the failures HorizonParks has been in, because it is such an experimental server. And there were a ton of failures. There were a ton of times that we completely bombed, whether it was opening something or doing something else. I take pretty much almost full responsibility for everything, because it's an experimental server and things go wrong, and a lot of stuff went wrong. But they did not like that. They did not like the creative freedom, and they did not like the risks. They just didn't like it. And they had done a lot of stuff behind my back that just really hurt, made fun, did not apply equal treatment to the HP server, insulted my team, and basically plotted behind my back. And I basically got, just to sum everything up, I got booted off of my own server that I had spent money on and created for an entire 5 to 6 years. And that hurt. That was probably the lowest time I ever had to go through. I was mentally and physically destroyed.
So it went from being a 50-50 to more like it's them, and then you're kind of like a footnote until you were gone.
No, it always was a footnote, really. They didn't really seem to care. There was no care. I kind of felt like I was lone in caring. I mean, I put my all into tech. I put my all into creative ideas to try and improve the server. We literally pulled our resources off of HorizonParks in order to help them open up their own projects, and they wouldn't do the same for us. And benefits such as audio servers and cosmetics, even though our partnership was supposed to be a mutual 50-50. It just wasn't that. And I was told that it seemed like I was competing with them, even though we were just, all I was seeking was just equal treatment and just wanting to provide excellent guest experience on the HorizonParks server. Because picture this. Imagine you go on one server and they have all the 9 yards. They have an audio server. They have cosmetics. They have all these cool things. Now you go on HorizonParks, and HorizonParks is only able to maintain 2 people on with extreme lag, and then the server crashes. Or you do a small world edit that's only like 100 blocks and the server crashes. And there is no audio server. Who do you think the guest is going to enjoy better?
The other one.
Of course. So we were already struggling with a select demographic, and that hurt. That really hurt. Just, I guess it was all fake. And after my removal, they continued to publicly slander me and defame me on the Discord server, saying that it was all my fault. It's basically how I interpret it, that everything was my fault and they were the heroes and I was trash and I was the bad guy, and basically blamed me for the backlash that they got when people found out, when I had stayed out of everything. And I really just went silent from the community for a good 5 months, 5 to 6 months.
So, obviously, HorizonParks went down after you left. So, where exactly does HorizonParks lie today?
Where does it stand? Literally nothing, practically nothing has been done on the server or any of its projects since I was booted. I know this because I just know because the status has always been kind of extremely slow, and I'm still friends with a lot of people. And, everything I had worked on has either been removed or abandoned. There are a lot of projects that I started that will forever remain untouched and unfinished. I had actually gotten 3/4 of the tech on Alien Encounter, which was going to be a surprise recreation when the server reopened after its renovation. And the tech is like about 3/4 done. I got a ton of it done, and now it's just sitting there abandoned, and practically nothing's been done on that server. I was the only person doing tech. I was the backbone of. I truly was, and I don't want to put myself on a pedestal here, but I was such a huge factor of that server, and in a way, I was the face of HorizonParks. I mean, so them losing that, it just, there's no way it can function. And they've tried to lie and say that they're still actively working on it, and it's going to open eventually. But I really don't see that. I don't see it lasting. And if it does, then it's not going to be up for a long time. It's going to only last for a few months, and then it's going to go down in history. So I expect nothing to be done, and I expect it to just completely never see the light of day ever again. And I want to tell people that because I want to be honest with people, and I don't want people being hyped for something and then told they're not getting it. I hate that so much. I want people, I want to be transparent with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already depressed enough that we had worked so hard and promised so much, and now it's never going to see the light of day. That kills me. To disappoint people like that, even though under the circumstances, that hurts. It really does. And, I've tried to be open and honest with the people who followed HorizonParks, because some people followed it for me, some people followed it because of just the content, but all in all, we were just a small, really genuine community with big hearts. And so it was very depressing to have that happen. It really hurt.
If you could have kept running it today, would you be able to? Not able to, but would you want to?
I that's really hard to say, because there's really so much damage that's been done. I don't even know if it can be repaired anymore. Like at this point, um, I don't. That's really a tough question. I really have no definite answer. You definitely could, but it'd have to be so overhauled, and it would have to be so completely changed in order to try to get it to function again and bring it back to life. Because it's basically a rotting corpse right now. I mean, it's like propping up a dead body and trying to get it to be alive and then come back. So it would take a lot of work. It's definitely possible. I don't see it being impossible, but I know a lot of people would be extremely happy if it came back under my leadership. But I honestly don't know. I really don't have a definite answer on that one.
So, I have to say, you have talked about so many aspects of the community. You've talked about how the community is repetitive. In your experience, you've clearly seen the community be toxic and seen the worst that it can offer.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts of the community today? I know that I posted my thoughts just weeks ago, and I know you agreed with a lot of the points that I brought up. So I wanted to
Mhm.
get your ideas about the community as a whole.
Yeah, of course. I think the community is on a rapid decline. I think it's been declining for probably 1 to 2 years now, um, especially after a ton of recent circumstances. I think it's on a major decline, and I think there's so many factors as to why there's so many problems with this community. Like you said, repetition. It's people. You cannot start a new server anymore. There's if you try to start a small server right now, today, it's not going to last. It will never grow. There's no room for growth. And I'm just going to be completely honest with that one. There's no way any smaller server can ever grow because of the repetition. And, oh, so you changed 5 blocks on the castle? What's the difference? I mean, it's the same parks, it's the same attractions, it's almost carbon copies, but it's not. And I don't want to trash too much because people really put so much effort into these parks, but it's just so repetitive. And it's hard for people to tell the difference and be able to like even find these communities because of the repetition. They've already found something. Like I'm trying to think inside the shoes of someone who's not necessarily part of the Minecraft theme park community, but is looking for a theme park server to go on. Once they find one that has their offerings, why would they search for another one with the same offerings if they already have that content?
Let's say you're a guest on MC Parks and a new server advertises itself to you. What is that really offering that MC Parks can't give you at the moment? And the answer is most likely nothing.
Exactly. It's pretty much almost the exact same identical product. It's the same park. This one has Walt Disney World. This one has Walt Disney World. This one has Walt Disney World, etc., etc., etc. I cannot even tell you how many Disneyland servers there are or Walt Disney World servers there are. It's just so repetitive, and I think I think the guests are sick of it too. I think the guests want to see something out of the box and want to see something completely different. And a lot of my opinions on the theme park community really, I basically got a huge awakening after my boot from Horizon Parks into the theme park community and how much problems and how much flaws it really has. Um, I'm not saying I didn't see that before, but really after that happened, I really, in a way, got kind of, I guess, awakened or red pilled into all the issues that it really has, and that's just really bothered me is the repetition. And something else that's really bothered me that really not a lot of people have brought up is political messaging. I really disagree with that, and that really hits me in a wrong, like on a wrong nerve. And I don't want to choose a side. I'm remaining neutral in this circumstance. But when I run my brands, and I've ran many brands and worked for many servers, I want to create a neutral environment where everyone is welcome no matter what they believe in or anything. And you have servers taking sides on social media and taking sides on Discord by um, giving some consequences and giving others no consequences for the same thing if they believe in something else. It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft servers, and there's just no time and place, and you're in no position to act on these things. And that's what I strive to do with Horizon Parks, and what I am striving to do now with the project we're going to talk about in a bit is just create a neutral environment that's not tailored to either side. I don't care what you are, left or right. Who cares? I mean, this is a block game. We're just here to have fun. So,
Do you feel that like some of the some of these servers just take it a little bit too seriously for it just being a block game?
you know, I do think that's tough because there are some servers that have. Because here's the thing, you got to find a balance between being able to gain enough to be able to keep server operations going. But I think it's the robotic chat with guests and like acting like a corporation that really bothers me. It's
Mm-hmm.
I really I don't like the non-personal connection with the community and the I don't know what you call it, the robocall, just generic like NPC text. I don't like that. I like to like have personal connections with the people in my community, and instead of just giving a generic answer like something's not open or something's not wrong, like something's wrong. Oh, we just need to put a little bit more pixie dust on that. I don't think that's necessary. I understand it's for theming purposes, but I really want people to know that the people running a server are not mindless corporate hacks and are actually genuine people with passions, and this is their passion. You know what I mean?
How did you make that work? Magic.
Yeah. No, morals and values, really. That's kind of what I've upheld, is a certain amount of morals and values and standards that have remained the same since day one. And, you can slap whatever buzzwords you want on it, but I truly believe that that's another issue, is that. And all of these issues can be fixed. It's just, and also just because the theme park community is kind of falling into irrelevancy as a whole. That's another reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think just because some people are finally getting tired of the concept, and concepts aren't going to last forever. You'll need to experiment and move on. And I know other people are. I'm actually really proud of MC Parks. And I've had chats with Darren and Ryan a lot. I chat with them a lot, and they're super nice guys. And I believe that they're taking their community in a great direction. And I'm not going to say anything out of respect for those two, but I will kind of say that they're trying to diversify the content that they have and outreach outside of their bubble that they've been in for the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that, and doing events where they recently did a charity event where they opened It's a Small World on the server, and every single ride that someone rode on It's a Small World, they would donate to a charity. I think stuff like that is just so cool. It's so neat. It's so genuine, and it shows that they're giving to the community and they're being part of their community, and we need more of that.
Mm-hmm. More uniqueness.
Yeah.
So, if any new people wanted to enter the community today, either as a server owner, a staff member, or even a guest, what advice would you give to them?
My advice would be to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to try something new. Take a risk, even if it ends up flopping. It's failure is, to me, failure is kind of a success, because you learn something, you can learn from the mistakes, you can receive the feedback, and you can improve upon it. Horizon Parks was such an experimental server, and while it's not a huge mega server that you see today, it definitely left an impact in the community, and it left an impact as to how people see smaller server communities. So really, I really suggest to let creative freedom flow. Do something really out of the box that will really grab people's attention, and just create a genuine and unique experience for all to enjoy.
So you wouldn't just say, turn around, stay back before it's too late?
No, it really depends. It has to. My thing is it has to be executed correctly. So if it's not executed correctly, it's not going to do well. If it is executed correctly, then it may flourish. What I said earlier, I know it was kind of like a Debbie Downer statement to say no one can really start up anymore, but I still believe in new server starting up if it's out of the box and unique, like especially in the custom park community, with servers such as Craft Venture or what was the one Jacob is running? The name
Expedition Isles.
Expedition Isles, thank you. It's stuff like that where you still have attractions, but you have quests and you're really interacting with people. I think Horizon Parks came at a time where it was a concept that worked for its time. If it were to come back, it would need to be heavily retooled and changed. But it was unique for its time.
Mm-hmm.
And it fit the needs that people wanted in the time that it was made, and it served its purpose in the history of this community.
So, if a guest were to want to experience Horizon Parks today, unfortunately they cannot do that right now, but you are working on a project very similar to the ideas and core values of Horizon Parks. So why don't you tell guests a little bit about what that is and possibly how they can experience it for themselves?
Yes, so Kyle and I, who both were when we originally founded Horizon Parks, after about 5 months of really just silence and not doing anything, he came to me and said, hey, we're kind of there's something potential here, and I have this idea. And, we lost Horizon Parks. Horizon Parks is no more, but I really have a concept that I believe in, and I want to show you because Kyle and I hold the same morals and values together when it comes to our communities. So he kind of just sent me a rough text at first, and I initially turned it down because I was just uninterested and didn't know if it would be able to captivate people and then like the attention. And so he came back to me and he said, I'm going to write you a proposal document. So freaking people joke all the time that I love Google Docs. So he sent me a Google Doc of of a proposal he called Project New Tomorrow. And Project New Tomorrow is something, what he proposed to me was completely different from what Horizon Parks was, but it was Horizon Parks realized, and it was finally realizing what we had wanted to do for Horizon Parks so long, but couldn't do, which was our core statement of encompassing the historical and golden age of Disney with the technological advances of the 21st century. What if we moved past this one game and we made our own platform for anyone of all ages can access it, play on any device, and experience literally down to the T digital recreations and experiences of Disney products, parks, attractions, experiences, and also provide a platform for graphic design, 2D art, and just bring a community together outside of the game. And I really love this idea. So we went forward with it. And shortly after the proposal, Kyle and I launched Project New Tomorrow. And Project New Tomorrow right now is primarily working on digital experiences, which is basically 3D modeled recreations ran on the Unity platform, a game engine. And we are currently recreating full-on digital experience recreations of the Sci-Fi Dine-In restaurant at Disney MGM Studios. We're working on recreating the individual staterooms of like the types of staterooms aboard the Disney Dream cruise ship. And we recently announced that we were starting work on Delta Dream Flight, which was a former attraction from the Magic Kingdom. But why this is such a huge deal is because it's stretching outside of this game and going into actual programs that are used every day, like 3D modeling and game design and graphic design and 2D art to provide an amazing product. So that's really what Project New Tomorrow is.
If guests are interested in Project New Tomorrow, I know, Soister, you have your own dedicated fan base. So if guests would like to find that, we will link Project New Tomorrow in the description of the video. It is honestly a really cool project that I am very excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, this is probably the most confident I've ever been, more confident than HorizonParks. I'm extremely confident with this project, and I'm super excited to see where it goes, because this is finally allowing for people to experience our recreations and experience our passions outside of one game and on a actual platform where we have a Discord community where people can chat and talk, and we have our website where anyone can play on the go. You can play our recreations on PC, you can play our recreations on a phone or a tablet or mobile device, and hopefully in the future, we're not going to want to promise anything just yet, because we have such a small team of talented people, one of which is the person behind the Disney MGM 89 recreation. We are hopefully, crossing fingers, possibly looking at multiplayer experiences as well as virtual reality compatibility to actually be inside of these recreations digitally and experience the Disney magic from anywhere and from home.
So it's the next level of Horizon Park. It's the ultimate realization of the Horizon
Oh
Park.
yeah, it's HorizonParks realized, and I think it's the theme park community outside of Minecraft realized, in a way, just because of it follows the same kind of values of that I brought over from the theme park community, from what I learned, but it's taking it into a real world scenario, into a completely different, field. So I'm just really excited for that. And a lot of the branding from HorizonParks was inspired by the HorizonParks branding. It's a very slick 70s looking branding, with a very 70s intro and logo, and it just pays tribute to the past while using the technology of the present to look towards the future. And I'm just genuinely really happy and excited for this.
Well, I certainly cannot wait to see where Project New Tomorrow goes, and I hope anybody listening will check it out. All right, well, that just about wraps it up for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. If this is the last time you're on the podcast, we do thank you for listening to all the episodes we've put out. It has been so much fun making this content for you all. I'm sure Aiden can agree. We've had a blast doing this.
We're doing one more finale episode after this one, but this is our last guest, and we'd like to thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, be sure to check out our Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify for that last episode and for more updates. And be sure to check out Project New Tomorrow in the description below. Do any of you have any more things to say before we end things off?
We'll see you on the horizon.